a fish, you guys. What is up, everybody? Steve here. Welcome to another video. As you guys have probably figured out by the title of this video, today we're going to be trying a little bit of nymphing with my brand new rod I just bought. We'll talk about the setup in just a second, but if you guys are not familiar with the term nymphing, also a lot of people call it tight lining, it's a fly fishing technique that originated out of Europe. As you guys know, we have different techniques when we fly fish. Some of us use dry flies, nymphing, or streamer fishing, one of my favorite ways to fly fish, where nymphing utilizes a system where they use really light, longer rods for better reach. You primarily use heavy nymphs, and then as we do start fishing, right over here, as you guys can tell, this different colored fly line, they call it the cider material. So you do not use an indicator. You just kind of watch the cider material, and any indication of it moving, stopping, jerking, combined with the sensitivity of this rod, you set the hook. So there's no indicator. Primarily what got me interested in this technique is, as you guys know, lately I've been hitting a lot of those middle of nowhere Washington desert creeks. They're very small, very stealthy. The fish are very spooky. So anytime I come up to them and I chuck my bobber out there, which primarily I nymph fish them, the impact of the bobber in the water basically makes all the fish scatter. For my beginner setup, I bought this Echo Shadow 2. This is not a fancy rod, you guys. I actually bought it off Marketplace. Some guy bought it, never really used it. I got it for like half price. It's practically brand new. For my fly line, you can buy dedicated nymphing lines. I bought what they call a Rio Shorty. So right over here, I basically have one of my old fly fishing reels. This is a super cheap, like $15 reel with one of my old fly lines on there. And right over here, I don't know if you guys can tell, but the Shorty basically attaches loop to loop to my existing fly line, thus negating the need for a whole brand new setup for me as of right now. The reason you want a different line is this line is much smaller in diameter. They are also much more sensitive. So as you're walking the line through the holes, it allows you to have a lot more sensitivity. And apparently that is the key to nymphing. So all in all, I'm like $200 into the setup, which I know it sounds like a lot, but in the world of fly fishing, it's honestly not that much. You can easily spend $1,000 on one of these setups. I'm not saying those rods aren't nice or I don't want one. I just don't know if I'm gonna like this. This is my first time doing it. I just want to try it out. It's actually a very pretty rod. You guys can tell right there, it has a nice little logo on there. I love Aqua products in the past, so I figured why switch it up? Stay with the same system I already know. Anyways, that's enough chatting. Let's get down to the river. Let's see what this is all about. All right, guys, let's give this whole situation a try. So the main idea with this is you don't really cast it in a traditional sense like you would a normal fly. Oh, already a fish, you guys. Oh, missed him. Did you guys see that? Literally, my first cast with the Euro rod, we hooked up a little fish. I don't know, maybe we're on something here. Let's get this thing back out there, you guys. Now, as you guys saw me, you don't really fish this in a traditional sense. Like, you don't really cast it. You just kind of walk it in there and flip it. Then we kind of see what happens. There you guys go, fish on. Every time I cast it in there, you're just hitting it. They're little tiny guys, but it's fun. See if we can get another one. Now, if you guys can see that right over there, I'm just using a little weighted caddis nymph. That's all I'm throwing. And I'm just tight lining through those little holes and trying to tack the bottom with it. And so far we got a couple hits. Hopefully we can catch a real fish.
I'm gonna go see if she wants to eat some lunch.
Let's go, fish on. Let's see if we can land this guy. All right, Hadley, come see a fishy. Check him out. It's a little fishy. We gotta put him back though, okay? All right, you guys, I'm just gonna walk over to another run and try to hit it and see what happens again. Fish on, guys. Another little guy. Here you guys go. Another little baby trout. Let's put this guy back. There you guys go. Another little trout. There you guys go. Another little fish. This is fun. Oh, fish on, guys. I was actually walking with my rod. I wasn't even leading it anymore. Might be nicest fish of the day yet. Here we go. Yeah, it's a little cutthroat. You like him?
Want to catch it?
You want to kiss him bye-bye? Nope. There goes fishy. Bye-bye. There we go. A little fish. So now one of the advantages to the system is you guys can see right here it's super shallow and right there it's super deep. So what I can do is you guys can see right there I can lift my indicator, or I should say my cider material. See right there it's catching on the rock. So I know it catches there, so I can recast it and I can skip over that rock and then basically sink it right into the hole afterwards. And I have great control over like different obstacles such as logs and rocks. It's one of the caveats to this. It's not a flawless system. We'll go over the flaws in just a minute when we get away from the current. As you guys can see, probably my most decent catch of the day. Nice little cutty. Let's put it back. Bye-bye, buddy. Alright guys, overall this was fun. I'm going to wrap it up for the day. Baby's definitely ready for a nap, so we're going to go do that. Let's talk about the setup just a little bit. Now I did notice a couple of advantages to this system. First of all, I'm fishing in the middle of the day. If I was out here fishing by myself, particularly for the purposes of just catching fish, considering it's middle of summer, it's really hot out, I would have been here much more earlier. Now we're midday, there's no dry fly action going on, nothing else seems to be rising. We're still picking up fish off the bottom. Granted, this stream doesn't necessarily hold a whole lot of big fish, but nevertheless, we still had fun with the ones we caught. Now, a couple limitations is obviously distance. I'm basically limited to the length of my rod, which works really well for small, swift streams like this, which is primarily what my target water is going to be with this setup. Now, if I was fishing a bigger river, obviously this would be a limitation. I'm kind of limited in my reach. Another thing I noticed is I did really well when there was swift moving water with top water disturbances, kind of that watery ripples on top, because I could get nice and close and the fish couldn't see me. As soon as I approached some of those bigger green pools where all of those fish like to stack up, as soon as I try to walk up there whether I could reach it with the setup, they just scattered, they could see me. So something to keep in mind. Now what I really particularly enjoyed is I can really work pocket water with this particular setup as well as structure, which is very beneficial, particularly when targeting small streams. So if there's like a log in the water, I'm basically controlling my nymph with my cider material and my rod. So I could throw it in, I could guide it over the log, and then I could dip it right behind a log and get a perfect presentation in an area where I would have a trouble doing that with the traditional indicator setup. So that was definitely a big plus. Anyways, you guys, we're gonna wrap it up for the day here. Tomorrow we're gonna go hit the desert and go after some big boys, I hope. And I'm hoping to put this setup to a little more test. So I'll keep you guys posted. See you guys in the morning. Well, alright everybody, welcome back. It's another morning. We're out here back in the desert like we discussed yesterday. We're out here with my dad today. We got a very early start today. Basically the sun just coming up over the horizon, so we're going to try and catch some trout. Today, primary goal is to continue to play with the Euro nymphing technique, see what I can do with it. There's definitely not every area here I can use that technique on. Basically, there's going to be some long pools and holes that I cannot reach with a Euro rod, so I did brought my dry fly rod. So the plan is start nymphing this morning, see what happens. If I see some fish rise, obviously I'm going to throw a dry fly at them, see if I catch one. But anyways, let's get to fishing. Right, you guys, we just came up to the first hole. I just saw a fish rise right in front of me. I'm gonna take my dry fly, we're gonna throw it out there and see what happens. I'm gonna use a grasshopper, and this is kind of counteractive to what more flat fishermen do, but this particular stream, what I'll do is I'll actually throw him out. I'll kind of lightly strip him back. We'll see if he hit it. Let's try it. That was a big fish too. Took my fly. Man. Good fish. Alright, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that one stung a little bit. So me and my dad came up to this hole and we see these giant fish just chilling there. I'll put an overlay shot here so you guys can see them, just big old fish. Throw it out there, strip my hopper a couple times, boom, he eats it. I set my hook, immediately just broke off. It was a 20-inch plus fish. I'm gonna lose some sleep over that one, but it's part of fishing, it's what happens. What can you do? Let's try again. Oh man, you gotta be kidding me. Shoot, came off again. Oh, did you guys see that? I'm speechless, you guys. I just missed another, like, at least 20 plus fish. He was absolutely huge. I saw him jump a couple times, so I know how big he was. Then once again, he just ripped my fly line. I mean, these fish are so strong and there's no room for me to really play him here. So as soon as they run downstream, I have to just counter my drag, and apparently I need a better drag. And if you guys are wondering what dry fly I'm using, I'm just throwing hoppers. And let me show you why I'm throwing hoppers. Look ahead of me as I walk. As you guys can tell, it's absolutely amazing how many grasshoppers out here. As I walk, they're just everywhere. So I just don't see a reason to throw anything else. Fish on, guys, this is a good one. See if I can land him. Not as good as the last ones, but this is a good fish. Yes, we got one. There you guys go. Beautiful little fish. Woo! Well, finally, guys, we got a fish landed. So this is a perfect opportunity to talk about the limitations of Euro nymphing. I'm basically limited to my 10-foot rod length, right? Basically, there's no surface disturbance. There's very little white water. So as soon as I cast out there, if I get that close to them, they just scatter. So I can't get close enough to target the fish. So basically I'm resorting back to my dry fly fishing where I can stand 30 yards upstream and I can let the current take my flies to them, which is a perfect example that Euro nymphing is effective, obviously, but it's not the perfect tool for every single job out there. There's definitely application for it, and as I'm learning, I'm gonna find it, but it's not a tool for everything, like some people like to say. So I'm trying to Euro nymph again, you guys, but now the wind's picked up, and I found another problem with Euro nymphing. Just a little bit of wind's basically putting a huge bow in my line, so I'm having a really hard time keeping that tight connection to the bottom, and so I'm just getting it snagged, but this is part of learning. It's about 9:30 now, you guys, and we're in a desert out here, so it gets extremely hot out here in the summer. It's not uncommon for us to get over 100 degrees here. It's supposed to be about 104, 105 today, and if we keep fishing, it's going to be basically harmful to these fish. Right, guys, overall impressions of Euro nymphing from this video, or I should say this adventure. It's a great technique. It's going to be another tool in my toolbox. I have a lot of work to do. If you guys are really proficient at the technique, please feel free to critique. Leave comments down below if you saw me doing something wrong. There's applications where I use dry flies. There are spots where I use streamers, nymphing, and I think there's going to be a perfect application for Euro nymphing. And particularly, I thought I was going to be using it out here, and it turns out it's actually quite the opposite. Yesterday, when I was fishing a small stream in northern Idaho, where there's a lot of boulders, a lot of logs, a lot of little riffles and pocket water, this is a perfect water for me to use Euro nymphing technique. In a spot like here, you guys, where the fish are really spooky, I need to be at least 20-30 yards away for them to get a proper presentation. It turned out to be much less effective. But anyways, it's all part of learning. It's all part of fun, right? That's what makes the sport so interesting. Anyways, you guys came along, you saw everything. I'm gonna go home and probably lose sleep for the next couple days over the two absolute giants I missed today. As always, if you guys would be kind enough, please like this video, comment below it, share it with your friends. It helps my YouTube channel. Thank you again for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next adventure. Goodbye.